What's good, everyone? This is Raine from Our Lady Peace. You're listening to Verbal Shenanigans.
Hey, what's up, man? How are you?
What's up, fellas?
This is that's Mike. I'm Scott. Thanks for giving us a few minutes of your time, man. I really appreciate it.
My pleasure.
I guess my first question for you is like, does it feel like 30 years in this band? Like, does it feel like that length of time, 3 decades of being with the same group of guys, or does it feel like it's been a
Yeah,
couple years?
and it goes so fast, right? Like, I think there's like moments that you remember that kind of like are benchmarks for the band, but like all that time in between and the fact that we're here at number 30 is crazy. It's like, man, it flew by.
Mm.
Wild.
I mean, as we're going for 30 years, let's go back to the beginning. You're in college, you're doing criminology, and you're in a magazine, you see a help wanted uh, kind of
Singer wanted.
article.
Yeah, yeah,
Yeah,
yeah,
just
yeah.
like how many times did you read it before you applied, and how serious did you think the deal was there?
So I had a band in high school with Duncan, who our bass player is. And then we kind of both split for a minute. He went to go ski in Whistler. I went to university. I needed to do something like I still needed to be in a band. So I did it right away. Like I auditioned, kind of started it with our guitar player, Mike. And, I was like going to school in the mornings and then rehearsing from like 4 o'clock till like midnight for a long time. Then we got a record deal. And yeah, it was never not an option, if that makes sense.
Hmm.
Were you always like a music guy as a kid? Like, were you always performing music or?
No, I didn't grow up in a typically like musical family. Like my dad was a huge Elvis fan, but I realized early on like some seminal records for me, and probably not what people think, like Springsteen's Nebraska,
Great
like
album.
like this just sick record on a 4 track in a hotel room was like, oh, okay, if that dude can do something like that, maybe I can do this as well. You know, Harvest by Neil Young. These were heavy records for me. And then I started getting into other stuff. But the idea that you could put your thoughts, like write them down as words, change words around, mix them up, and then sing them was like, oh, I dig this.
Now you have like a lot of range. Like you can hit. You seem to get to the falsetto, like
Yeah.
I don't know, called register or whatever you call it. Was that something that took a while to develop? Like I feel like like I sang in garage bands as a kid, and it was all just like you figured out slowly how to sound a little better. But like you're able to kind of get up there. Were you trained at all to do this, or this came naturally to
I
you?
was not trained. You know what? I there's a few artists like I love Rush and Springsteen and Neil Young and U2 and bands like that, but I also love like Bjork,
Yeah.
and
Hmm.
like this Middle Eastern artist who's British, but her name's Sheila Chandra. The acrobatics, the way they jump octaves, like that shit was always really like exciting to me. So I'm like one of my biggest vocal inspirations is Mike Patton from Faith No More,
Sure.
and what that can,
Hmm.
what he does vocally is like otherworldly. So yeah, just I love jumping around.
Can you tell the audience here the story of how you got offered to do the Van Halen tour, and at first you said absolutely not? Can you tell that story for our
Yeah,
audience?
we were touring, and man, it was going great. We were with a Detroit band called Sponge and a Boston band called Letters for Cleo, and we were
I
like
love
selling out.
Sponge.
Yeah,
Both of
man,
them.
we're playing
Awesome
with
band.
Sponge in Vegas, dude, in like a week and a half.
That's
But
awesome.
anyway, the idea was that we were playing these amazing like 2,000 seat venues, selling them out, hot and sweaty. It was incredible. Like it was like our first, oh my God, like this is gonna happen. This is amazing. And then like 4 shows into the tour, I got a call and it's like, oh, you're not gonna believe this. Like you guys are Van Halen wants you to open for him, and it starts like in a week, and you got to drive to. And I was like, awesome. Let them go do it. Like I'm not doing that. Like why would I leave this tour where
Right.
we're playing to like our
Hmm.
fans and go? I just knew look. I like 1984. I was into that record, but the idea of opening for Van Halen at that point was just like no, hard no. that turned into, oh, if that's your answer, my management was like kind of like trying to play both sides and was basically like, look, the reality is the label said they're going to drop you if you guys are going to take this tour. I
Jeez.
was like, oh, okay, that's a different thing. I guess we're going to open for Van Halen.
Which version of Van Halen was this? Who was
Sammy
fronting it?
Hagar.
Okay.
Sammy, yeah, yeah. It might have been easier if it was David, but it was a tough tour, man. Like Sammy kicked me off the tour like 10 shows in.
Wow.
He just didn't, and I knew that. Like I knew it going in. I was like, man, I don't think this is gonna work. We're just not that party kind of band, and I'm assuming that's what they want. And I remember he came up to us. He was like, Raine, what the fuck, man? Like, you are not getting the crowd. Like you have to like entertain. I was like, dude, I'm not like an entertainer. I'm a singer. Like I'm doing my thing, and I'm not a party kind of guy. He said, you're incredible. Like you're amazing at that. Your voice is insane. I love Eddie and Alex and Michael. Like I just don't know what you want to say. He was like, this isn't working. So we left the room and we got word back like 10 minutes later that we were kicked off the tour. Thankfully, by that point, I'd already become really close with Eddie and Alex. And I was like kind of shocked. I was like, I don't know if I'm like, am I going to get in trouble? What's going on now? And Eddie saw me. He's like, don't worry about it. You're not going anywhere. So that's how that thing worked. But at the end of the day, like I have no ill will towards Sammy. He's a good dude. And that tour really was good for us in the sense of like it was hard. People were like this the whole time in the front row to me. So it like made us a good band. And I heard the same thing had happened to Alice in Chains where they didn't want to do it. They got on that tour. It was really tough. People didn't like them, but it makes you look inward in terms of what you're trying to achieve. And I still kind of take that. I still kind of take that mindset of like, you know what, you go on stage, it's a battle for hearts and minds. Even if the fans love you, I don't care. It's like I'm trying to get deeper in your soul. So it's a battle now, and that's what I developed from that tour.
You're a very poetic writer, and you've covered a lot of topics, deeper topics in songs over the years. I'm curious, like when you look back at songs like that you made early on in the band and you sing them now, do they feel different to you? Like, do you have to put yourself almost like travel in the past to kind of feel it on stage still, or like so they don't become like repetition, or like is there a certain mindset that you approach older songs with now?
I don't. I mean, I just still feel them. I mean, look, there's some songs I won't play anymore,
Mhm.
just because I'm not as connected to them, or I felt like they were forced when we were recording them. But like, thankfully, the songs that definitely were our singles, I love them all, man. Like I sing Superman's Dead. Like it's funny. Like I think the world's spinning faster now than it is even when I wrote that song, which felt
Sure.
like a subway was like the fastest thing I can think of. It's like it's gone beyond that. Songs like, yeah, yeah, they all just Starseed. We usually close our sets with Starseed. That was our first single ever, really.
Hmm.
And it almost means more to me now, like transcendence and being able to kind of get outside yourself and not like get caught up in like the echo chambers of life here on earth. Like that transcendence is still something I try to do daily anyway.
Now, lyrically, are you like a pen to paper kind of guy before you guys, start writing the song, or are you a guy that gets the rhythm of the song and kind of, melds the words into it?
I'm a guy that like I just try to stay open creatively. It's something I learned very early on. And so doing that, it's like woke up in Lincoln, Nebraska today. It's like what am I seeing? Is there anything like that's thought provoking that I might write down or speak into my voice notes? And I just catalog shit. And then when the time comes, if there's a musical piece or I feel like I have an acoustic guitar and I still try to, if something just comes out naturally, great. But if not, I'm just going through stuff and seeing what ideas kind of fit. It's like puzzles.
I absolutely love the Clumsy album. I love the song Clumsy. I remember actually watching on MTV the video, and I was getting mad. There was some show they had on where like people gave scores for the videos, and you guys like advanced to like the final date, and you lost to like Amani Kupala's Legends of a Cowgirl and all, which really ticked me off, I
Oh,
recall.
wow. That's That hurts.
Yeah,
He's still not over it.
yeah.
He talks about it every week on the show. It's like,
Oh
all right,
yeah,
Mike,
I'm like,
let
I
it
am
go.
not gonna pack my bags and mount my horse. Damn you!
I remember that song too. It was catchy. I give it that.
Yeah. Talk about that video itself and all. Like, how much time was involved? Were you involved in it? Did they just bring
That
a
was
director?
that was Matt Mahern. I don't remember a lot of our video director name, but that dude was a genius. I can't remember. He did like Stone. I think he did Interstate Love Song
Oh,
for
nice.
STP.
Mm.
But I remember he was like, "This is going to be a challenge because we built this room that was a water tank to have that kid like the whole thing is the whole concept behind Clumsy is like you see someone out there and obviously it's a metaphor, but you see someone on the ocean and they're waving at you. Are they actually waving? Or are they waving because they're drowning and need help? Right. So it's trying to figure out what people need, what your brother needs, what your friends need when maybe they're not communicating properly. So he had this idea about building this room that would fill up with water. And it was intense, man, to have this kid in this room and the safety, all that stuff. But it worked. And I think I hopefully it made that metaphor feel like, because there's parts where you see him swishing around and kind of like maybe drowning or trying to catch his breath. And that really for me, I never really loved videos in terms of like they could ruin a song sometimes with the imagery in terms of what you think, and all of a sudden you see something like, yo, that's not what I thought about this song. No, I don't like it. So with Clumsy, I think Matt really did a great job of like instilling that feeling that at least lyrically I thought we should have for it.
Yeah.
In interviews you talked about like the Canadian music scene in the 90s and how many great bands are coming out. Is there a band from the Canadian music scene that you wish got like more recognition, or a band that you wish people knew of that influenced you?
Yeah, I mean, Mother Earth was like one of our peers growing up. They were, yeah, and they made a big record, man. That first record, they were signed down here in the US and they made a record with Mike Clink, who did like GNR's records. Um, like just super way out there, like next level. I don't want to I hate comparing bands, but like heavier, more technical or Jane's Addiction, like really, really incredible. And yeah, I mean, you never know why it doesn't happen or why it happens. A lot of luck involved, but they still play a lot, and we're friends with those guys that I felt like they should have been one of these, just mash global, huge bands.
How were you a guy that handled fame okay? Like, was fame okay? Was it, or was that a bit of an adjustment period?
I handled it because I just hated it.
Yep.
I hate that word.
Yep.
Yeah, I hate that word, and I never really accept it. So I feel like that was the best thing to do. I just like I never read a review, even if it was amazing. I just never bought into any of it, and that's why when it comes to like talking about 30 years ago, I never look back like that. I
Sure.
never bought into anything. I was always like, what's the next song? What's the next album? How are we experimenting next? And I think if you follow our career, like we were never one of those rinse and repeat bands. Like Clumsy
Right.
was a huge record. I'm sure a record company in New York was like, hey, can you just make another version of that?
Yep.
Mhm.
And we said, no, we're gonna go make this crazy other record. Then we made Spiritual Machines based on this, AI, and Ray Kurzweil's booked. And
Mhm.
so, and then we go and make this rock record called Gravity with Bob Rock that ended up doing really well. I'm sure they're like, can you do that again? We said no. But yeah, that always looking forward has always been like, I don't know, like the mantra for the band.
Mm. I mean, it's kind of interesting how you talk about you hate the word fame. You've done tons of humanitarian work with like War Child, and you've done the Occupy Wall Street. And I kind of chuckled how like you were out there protesting. You talked about being against the 1%, and people are like giving you the finger, like you're a part of the 1%, and all. Is that Does that happen often where people, as much work you do, people just want to shun it? It's like, oh, you're just a celebrity. You're just doing out here for publicity.
Yeah, I think the celebrity thing gets thrown out irresponsibly maybe sometimes, where people just don't know your story and it's easier just to
Sure.
just to be negative towards people. But I walk the walk, man. Like I don't just support charities. I've been to Iraq, I've been to Darfur, I'm going back to Sudan this fall. Like and not to say like that means anything. I'm still like I'm not even like a Monday morning quarterback. The people that get up every day to run War Child, those are like they're heroes. They deserve all the flowers and stuff. But um, yeah, I feel like look, especially in the music business, this shit ain't easy. Like
Mm.
this is work, like being an artist is hard, and it's actually getting harder as the paradigm shifts in the music business. So celebrity fame, that stuff means nothing. And it's work. So yeah.
You kind of segued to a question I wanted to ask you about spiritual machines and talking about AI, and now we're, I don't know, in the last year and a half, we just let AI, like it's on everything now, like it just
I know.
magic.
I are you guys real? I'm not even sure if I'm talking to real dudes.
We're not
I,
I
actually.
know.
I,
I
I'm
know.
still
No.
trying to figure it out
Yeah.
myself. I ask my wife every morning.
But is it kind of scary, like 25 years later or whatever it is, that like we are now inundated with AI. Like it's almost like your music make that album makes more sense now than ever because it's with us now. Like you can't even avoid it.
Yeah, I mean, it's one of those rare things where like Ray Kurzweil, when we read that book and decided to make a record and have him speak, on the record. And he even introduced us at shows in Boston, for a while. Every time we hit Boston, he'd come out and be the guy. And it's just like, man, out of that book, like AI for sure, but like things like drive, all the predictions he made, driverless cars, cochlear implants. I'm sure you guys have seen like a baby's born deaf. Now they can fix
Yep.
that, right?
Mm-hmm.
To obviously AI and how it's going to change the world. He was right on everything. And it's been a trip to see it all happen. And I think you're right. Like you can't have a conversation today without someone talking about AI. And Ray was so far ahead of the game. But I will say this, like Ray, because we did Spiritual Machines 2 a few years ago, and Ray's predictions, even with AI, are really positive, like ending world hunger, ending like, climate kind of stuff that's going on. Um, I mean, poverty, all these major problems we have, like as a planet, as a global like citizenry, he feels like technology is going to help. I think all the media and everything wants to focus on like scorched earth and like Terminator and all, and which is there as well, and lost jobs. But I believe, just because Ray was right on everything else, I think he's right about the next 25 years, and it's actually gonna spin and flip and be positive.
Along with your work with Our Lady Peace, you've done a ton of work producing music, co-writing music. Can you talk about working with Kelly Clarkson on co-writing a song?
Just Kelly specifically.
Yeah.
Yes. Nobody else. Nobody else. I don't want to hear anything else.
I told you he's not real. He's a
Yeah.
robot.
I, I could tell you a story about Kelly. I love Kelly. And it really has nothing to do with songs. My wife was writing with Kelly. She wrote this song called "Where's Your Heart," which was this huge monster ballad, amazing. But I remember Kelly coming over for the first day. I wasn't even involved yet. We ended up writing the song called "Walk Away," which is one of her hits. But it was more like a rock song. But before I started writing, she was sitting in her house and she just got back from working with, I don't know who it was, Max Martin, like like real songwriters. Um, and she was bummed out and she was yelling at her manager or something because the song she felt was like almost like a bit of an Avril Lavigne ripoff, and she didn't want to
Hmm.
sing it. And I was like, oh, that's interesting. I said, oh, you never know. I mean, it's like your voice is so different. I said, your voice is like literally world class. I'm sure it won't sound like that. And I remember she played the song and I was like, I don't know what a hit song is, but I think it's that. And it was Since You've Been Gone.
No.
You know
Mm.
what I mean?
Yeah.
And I get it because she just won Idol and she was this is like going to be her first thing. And I think that was maybe the first song that people were going to hear from her after Idol. And I get it because you have those insecurities as an artist that you don't want to sound like anybody. You want to sound like you. But I remember trying to tell her, I was like, look, your voice is ridiculous. That sounds nothing like Avril. And I would bet money that this song is big.
Well, speaking, I'm going to put two questions together here. You guys have been advocates for mental health, suicide prevention, things like that. And I also want to catch people up with what's currently going on Our Lady Peace. You put out the new version of whatever,
Mm.
and you got your 30-year tour. I'm curious, like, what drives you guys to kind of make mental health like a main talking point of yours, a main support thing of yours, and tell us about this whole project and what's going on with the band now.
Well, man, I think everyone, like either in their immediate family or extended family, has someone that, like there's some sort of mental health thing going on. It's just like, it's just life. But with whatever, we were putting together a LP 30 tour, the first part of it for Canada. And I was just like, you know what? This is a celebration. The fans should be involved in this from like the beginning, not just at the shows. I was like, hey, send us what songs you guys want to hear, and we'll help try to figure out what the set list would be. You guys help pick it. And like every fourth DM was like, I know you guys are probably never going to play this, but I've never heard you play whatever, because we never really played it live. Love that song. Love to hear. I was like, man, went to the guys and I was like, a lot of people want us to play this song. I don't know if it's like time is healed stuff, or we should think about it. And then I got a couple like long DMs from really thoughtful fans who explained it. They're like, look, I suffer from mental health a lot. I've tried to commit suicide. I understand why you guys wouldn't play this song, but it's always spoken to me, and I feel like there's a way to turn this into a positive. And so it just got the wheels thinking. I was like, you know what, if we can re-record it. So we went back in with Nick Raskulinecz, who did our last three songs for those EPs, and yeah, changed some lyrics, gave it a bit of a newer sound, updated it, and it feels like we've taken back ownership of it. But at the same time, it's like we're donating all the streaming royalties to suicide awareness hotlines across the country. And I've been talking about on this tour with Collective Soul and Live this summer, where it's like, it's amazing. Like, start talking about mental health and like ending stigma, and the fans are like cheering. I'm like, wow, this is amazing. I don't know if that would have happened 10 years ago. Like it's in the mind share, like everyone's thinking about it. And it's like, yeah, like let's talk about this stuff, have a dialogue. So I feel like it's like whatever that fan said to me, like stuck, and we were able to flip it and make it a positive.
It's awesome. Raine, I want to thank you for giving us a few minutes of your time, man. I really appreciate it. We're both big fans of the band over the years, and shout out.
Where are you guys?
So
I'm
in New Jersey. He's in Georgia over there.
Georgia.
Shout out to my friend Joey, who he was a Canadian bobsledder. I went to his wedding last year, and sure enough, his wedding song was "Our Lady Peace."
Oh wow!
Yeah,
a bobsledder, you say?
A bobsledder, yeah. He
Love
was
it.
2 Olympics ago. He was there. But anyway, if people want to check out the band or what's going on, or even some of the things you're doing, where's the best places for them to go?
That's a good question. I guess Instagram, maybe ourladypeace.com. I don't know if people do that anymore. So, yeah.
Now you answer that like a robot.
Final question from me. As a proud Michael, as I like to feel I'm the king of the Michaels, why did you leave the Michaels?
I was a different person growing up. And I felt like when I tapped into music and realized that, like, you make a decision, right? Like, you have to, this kind of job and being an artist, you can't do it half-ass. I needed a change. And so that was like my physical kind of, almost like a reminder for myself, like, you know what? I'm not turning back. I'm doing this. If it kills me, or if all I get to play is pizza joints for the rest of my life. But it was like a conscious, okay, I get to do this now, and I get to kind of leave my old body.
Sold. Okay, Scott, refer to me as Raine Burlew from now on.
No, he probably saw a clip of the podcast and was like, I gotta disassociate with that guy.
It's still Raine Michael Anthony Maida, you know.
Oh.
Raine, thank you so much for your time, man. Good luck with the rest of the tour, and looking forward to what you got coming up in the future. And we'd love to have you back on down the line.
Yeah, appreciate it, guys. Thank you.